It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Alrighty, folks. Good morning. Guess what? It's Friday, part 1, Thursday, August the 27th. And guess what? Second day of school for government kids. They are looking fantastic. Fresh, clean, new uniforms. I absolutely love it. I have seen quite a few of you posting your pictures of the kids. Some of you reminiscing about how quickly children seem to grow up. Oh my God, listen, we're now in double digits myself and I can't believe it. I'm just like, where did 10 years go? I have no idea, but I love your photos so much. Thank you guys so much for sharing them. There's nothing like the beginning of a school year to kind of give you new hope. The kids feel good. They're excited to see friends again, meet new people potentially. And it's a lot of fun. So let's keep the momentum going now, folks. I mean, I was speaking to a parent yesterday and she said, oh, thank you so much for this and that. I said, listen, the only expectation I have is that these kids are going to perform well in school. Tell them to pull up their boots. I get it. This is their childhood. They're going to have fun. But you got to keep those grades up. You got to focus in school and just do your best. So I love seeing the back to school photos. And I also appreciate the sacrifice that parents are out here making every single day to ensure that their children are ready. Now, I've been getting some complaints from some of you already saying, Miss Sandy, this one sent the child to school with nappy hair. And I said, oh, Lord Jesus, please don't start. Let's give him a chance. I mean, I don't know why you didn't get the child's hair rebraided for the school year, but, perhaps there's an explanation that I'm missing. I'm going to give you no judgment zone this first week. But let's go ahead and start Monday. I know the middle of the week, it's hard. Maybe getting hair appointments and getting the kids in there. But over the weekend, get them sorted out. Do a nice wash, deep condition, and a fresh braid, okay? Mm-hmm. I know the hair woes. I got a daughter with hair all the way down her back, and trust me, it's not me that's doing it. So I make sure I get in my appointments with Miss Rocio and say, here you go, honey child. Fresh for the school year. All right. Fresh haircut, too. We always take off a couple inches to keep it manageable. Okay, beautiful folks. Where's AJ this morning? AJ, there you are. He said, good morning, beautiful people. Can we please give AJ a big shout out? He has been enjoying his new CMR mug. Let me just see if I can find the picture here. Give me 1 sec. Come on, Miss Stacy. We're drinking tea again this morning and some water, of course. Let me just see. Where's that picture, AJ? So AJ is one of our fans that lives in the US of A. And of course, Caribbean connections. And he's tuned in most mornings, joining the program. Really appreciate him doing so. And let me just see now, AJ. I'm trying to find the picture. So we sent him a mug over the summer, and he sent us a picture of him enjoying his CMR mug. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to pull it up on the screen. I'm trying to see where the computer is actually saving it. Oh, there we go. In that good old downloads folder. So there we go. Look at AJ. All we need to know now is what was he drinking in the cup? Milo, coffee, or tea? Yes, sir. AJ is here for the cold hard truth most mornings. Thank you, AJ. We really appreciate it. Look at Delcy and Ben joining us from Miramar, Florida. Again, we've got lots of people who listen to the program overseas, and we thank you and appreciate you so much. They always tell me it keeps them connected to home. And sometimes they've never even lived in the Cayman Islands, and they are still tuned in. And they say, you know what, Auntie, it's because we really, really enjoy hearing what's going on in Cayman, and some of them dreaming about coming here one day. But you know what Miss Brenda gonna tell them? Where's Miss Brenda this morning? Miss Brenda gonna say, nope, Sandy, tell them we're full, honey child. So listen, I'm tickled pink to have a special guest in the studio this morning. Good morning, Blissful Powell. So good to see you. None other than the Director General. That sounds like a fancy title for Mr. John Tibbetts. Most of you know him as being in a leadership position over at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. And so it's my privilege for us to sit this morning and enjoy him, enjoy welcoming him to the program. This man has had an amazing career in public service that spans over 4 decades. And for those of you who are trying to do the math, because you should be back in the 4th grade, 4 decades, that's 40 plus years. That's right. For more than 41 years, Mr. Tibbetts has dedicated himself to serving the people of the Cayman Islands, particularly in an area that affects every single one of us. When a hurricane is approaching, when severe weather threatens, when the seas become dangerous, or when we simply want to know what Mother Nature has in store for us, the work of the Weather Service becomes absolutely critical. And over the course of his career, John Tibbetts has enjoyed enormous changes in the Cayman Islands itself, both in meteorology, yes, I can't say that one too fast, technology, hurricane forecasting, and certainly in the way that information reaches the public. He's been through some of the most significant weather events in modern history, including, of course, Hurricane Ivan. Yes. And, you know, that's changed these islands forever. And now he's preparing to close this extraordinary chapter in his life and retire at the end of August. Aw. So we wanted to have an opportunity, not simply to say thank you, but to hear his story, some of the memories, the challenges, the lessons, and perhaps even a few things that the public has never heard before. So, John Tibbetts, good morning, sir, and welcome to the Cold Hard Truth. How are you? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me okay? Oh. You're not muted, so I'm not sure. Just check those audio connections for me. I'm going to give you 1 quick second to just check it out and see what's going on so I can hear your audio. And give me a thumbs up when you think you've got it sorted out. All right, we'll give him a second. Sometimes these things happen. Little technical glitches there. But yes, we're excited to have him. Let me just see here. I'm gonna see if Mr. Milo can give him a little help. But we're excited to have him in the studio. So we'll pull him back in here in just a second. Let's say a few more good mornings. Just give me a thumbs up when you think your audio is sorted out. Okay. Right. Mr. Leroy says, who's getting blazed up today? Well, Leroy, you missed it yesterday morning, honey child. Although I'm tempted to recircle that one and go through the full video tomorrow. We'll see how the after show goes. All right. Shall we try again? All right. Let's give him a minute there. So I think he can hear me. I think I just can't hear him. So we're going to try to get that all sorted out. Patricia Blake and Damaris is here. Good Sarah C. He's drinking, says Leroy. Leroy is giving a guess there. Island Pearl, good morning, my darling. Miss Dean is in the house. Morning with lots of blessings to you. Strong Will says, Andy, I am one of Auntie, I am one of your most dedicated listeners. And I've not gotten a mug, radio, not even a pin. Listen here. All you have to do is message and ask. Ask and you shall receive. All right, let me get the links. Oh, yeah, let me not forget to send out the morning links. Give me 1 second here. So just WhatsApp me, and I will surely ensure that you get one. It's that easy. What she say? She not even gotten a pin. Oh, Strong Wilt. No. We're going to have to rectify that, honey child. And you want a mug? I'm going to be like Oprah. And you get a mug. And you get a mug. All right. Let me just take this opportunity to go ahead and put out the links for they just message me. You got my WhatsApp number, don't you? Everybody, I think, has my WhatsApp number. All right. Give me a second here. Let me see. Yes, I am going to grab the live links and send to our WhatsApp channel. Don't forget, folks, you can join the conversation. And I want to see you guys calling in today and wishing John Tibbetts, after 41 years there of service, y'all better be calling in wishing this man a happy retirement, because what a milestone, I tell you. All right, let me just see here. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to go ahead and put the phone number there, because I know sometimes you guys will forget what the phone number is. All right, the link is sent in the WhatsApp channel. Let me just send it to Windsor Park Group, Washington Boulevard Group, and of course, Florida, Cayman Islands in Florida as well. All right, shall we try again? Let's see. Hello, Mr. John, can you hear me okay?
Yes, good morning. Good morning to your listeners.
There you go. There you go. We can hear you now loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, 41 plus years?
Actually, I actually got a notification from the government that it was 42. But
42. Who's
yeah,
counting?
around that amount.
At this stage, you're probably like, who's counting? This is an amazing milestone, and we're going to take a trip down memory lane a little bit here today. So I did a little bit of research on you. You know, we got to make sure that we got our facts and figures here. And you started out way back. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you started back in 85 as a weather observer. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about correct, yes.
Yes. So you joined the former Department of Civil Aviation in 1985 as a weather observer in the Aviation Weather Office. Boy, there have been some changes in those years. And so at that point, Cayman's meteorological operation was primarily aviation based rather than the national forecasting and warning services that we see today. So that's been a big change. And Cayman actually relied on regional partners for forecasts and severe weather warnings. Wow. Do you remember the first day on the job?
Actually, one of the pictures that we turned up was. Give me a second, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
One of the pictures we turned up was me probably about a month into my career,
Wow.
and to say that there wasn't any weather services in Cayman might be a little bit misleading.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Frank Rolston and the U.S. Upper Air Station, which became eventually became a cooperative hurricane upper air station, that was operational from the 1950s. And even before that, you had the Cuban government in here with taking some weather observations and what have you. So there was weather
Mm-hmm.
before the weather office started. But basically, around the mid 1980s is when the Civil Aviation Department decided it needed to have weather information for its pilots.
Mm.
And so around that time, I was the first Caymanian hired. I joined Mr. Fred Sambula, who is originally from Belize and has become a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And he eventually became the first director of the Weather Service, and he has really taken us through a lot of our development, as it were.
Right. Wow. Eventually, you advance to the operational weather forecaster, which means then you were responsible for daily forecasts and weather warnings for both the public and the aviation sector. So, in those early days, what was it like being under? You talk about being there with Mr. Sambula under, I suppose, his tutelage. What was it like for you, as you say, the first Caymanian hired in this position? Did you feel a lot of responsibility, or was it just a natural fit and you just absolutely loved it and you were off running?
I think I was a bit. I don't know if I want to use the word carefree,
Mm-hmm.
but it was fairly laid back. My day started around 5 o'clock in the morning when I used to have to report to the U.S. Upper Air Station
Mm-hmm.
and carry out the upper air release balloon release. And back in those days, it was a manual operation. Interestingly enough, one of my little pet peeves, as it were, one of those little things that brings me back some of the memories is that the upper air machine that we had there, that we used to have, the paper used to be spinning coming out of it, and the machine was printing off the paper and what have you, and you would have to draw levels on and uh, uh, collect information and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
It was a machine that was um, kind of in two rooms, as it were. The back
Mm-hmm.
end of the machine where the text would have to work was in one room, and then the other room was the operational side. And I was the general aviation terminal was built around that building, and I can still feel today where the sheetrock, as it were put over that hole, as it were, once the machine was taken out.
Mm-hmm.
And it does kind of bring back some of the memories of it. But basically, I would start with the up air station in the morning, around 9 o'clock in the morning. Then everything would be completed with the upper air, and I would then go over to the office with Mr. Sambula.
Mm-hmm.
The office was basically divided into two, as it were. Fairly big room. One side was the aeronautical information services, and the next side was the weather, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And my job basically was the information in those days was coming in on teleprinters. So my machine was to keep the teleprinters clear of paper. I had to take information off and file the information so that we had on the clipboards and what have you, U.S. observations, Caribbean observations, Caribbean forecast, American forecasts, and things like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
when the pilots wanted weather information, we had to have it at the tips of our hand. And
Wow.
additionally, I had to plot up air and surface charts. So
Mm-hmm.
it's was remarkably more simple than it is today, in,
Wow.
in some ways.
In some ways, yes.
Yeah.
You didn't have the technology in those days, and we're going to get to how that has certainly changed the entire world, including weather. But wow, that's quite a journey to come from that to to here you are some 42 years later about to retire. So
Yeah.
let's continue. We had some major hurricanes that you would have seen. Of course, Hurricane Gilbert in 1988, Hurricane
Yeah.
Mitch in 1998, and Hurricane Ivan in 2004, which I think for us was certainly the most impactful of them all. Did you ever think in your career previous to Hurricane Ivan that you would see a storm of the century, as Hurricane Ivan became known as?
Well, Mr. Sambul always used to say, it's not an if, it's a when.
Mm,
The Northwest Caribbean is known for developing a lot of Category 5 hurricanes.
mm-hmm,
And it was only fitting that at some point a major storm would hit us. And please understand, Hurricane Ivan to us it was a very intimidating storm, a very powerful storm.
mm-hmm.
By no means is the Hurricane Ivan the most powerful hurricane that ever occurred.
Right.
Even when you talk about the reputation of Hurricane Gilbert, the reputation of Hurricane Gilbert as one of the worst storms in history
Mm-hmm,
is not the storm that went through the Cayman Islands. Uh,
mm-hmm,
it didn't really get to that level of a storm until it got in the northwest, further west of us, and into the Gulf of Mexico. All right, and Hurricane Gilbert was my first storm, and I was to a certain extent a bit giddy headed, as
mm-hmm,
it were. I had only been out of school for a couple of years before Hurricane Gilbert came along, and really and truly in those days it was just me and Mr. Sambula
mm-hmm.
was the weather office at that time.
Yes. Wow. When you say that you get giddy headed, is there a certain excitement around? I can imagine there probably is, but is there a certain excitement around hurricanes? And okay, you've got a plan, you've got to deploy certain things, but you get on with it. But when you sit back and realize what you've just done, what your entire team has just accomplished, do you go back and go, "Wow, yeah,
Well, with Hurricane Gilbert, as you said, the technology wasn't there yet.
yes,
Okay. But in Hurricane Gilbert, it was very interesting because Mr. Sambula worked from home,
mm-hmm,
and I worked in the air traffic control tower. And the
mm-hmm,
reason he wanted me in the air traffic control tower is he wanted a qualified weather officer to talk to the hurricane hunters
mm-hmm,
so that they could tell us what they were seeing, and I could tell them what we were seeing down here. And being that this was my first storm and the excitement of the moment and what have you, um, one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to catch it all. I
mm-hmm,
wanted to. I didn't want to go sleep during the passage of the storm at all.
mm,
I just wanted to stay up and watch it and watch how the damage it inflicted on the surrounding buildings and what have you.
mm,
I remember the old fire station that was out in front of the building here where we were, and seeing how that got ripped apart by the
mm-hmm.
storm, as it were. It was very fascinating for me. And even when Hurricane Ivan came across, one of the big excitements for me basically was driving around afterwards,
Mhm.
seeing the damage, but celebrating the moments as the businesses came back into operations, as it were.
Mhm. Mhm.
Understanding that Mother Nature had thrown quite a ball at a rough patch at us, as it were,
Yeah.
but we were able to go through it and come out on the other side.
Yeah. Wow. Lots of resilience stories that came out of Hurricane Ivan. Just reminding us, of course, of how fortunate we were that even though we sustained significant damage, there was no direct loss of life. I think related to the storm itself. I think there was a few people afterwards that had some unfortunate mishaps. But yeah, what an amazing story of how we could go through something like that, and because we have decent infrastructure in place in terms of or building codes. Thankfully, insurance was there for a lot of people. We were able to quickly rebuild, and now you look around and you see very few reminders of the fact that 90 something percent of all of our buildings had some sort of damage. which is to me just extraordinary.
Well, and
Um,
Andrea,
mhm,
and I think also one of the things that's kind of missed by a lot of people is, we get into arguments and discussions about exactly how powerful Hurricane Ivan was.
right.
All right. If you
Mhm,
ask National Hurricane Center at the moment that it's passing through Grand Cayman, and you're talking about the storm at its closest point of approach to Georgetown,
mm,
okay, it was a peak Category 4 hurricane. I'm not
mhm,
going to fuss and fight with you if you want to say it's a Category 5,
mhm,
because in
mhm,
reality, we were getting hurricane force winds, and it was still a Category 5. This storm was off to the east of us with 160 odd miles per hour sustained winds, max winds.
mhm,
And by the time it crossed us at its closest point, it was just a mere 1 mile per hour below what the Category 5 threshold was.
mm,
That tells you how close you were to getting even worse impact than if it, just regarding the storm.
mhm, mhm. Hmm. Wow. All right, folks, please don't forget that if you have any questions or congratulatory messages for Mr. John, you are more than welcome to call 936-2626, an extraordinary career. Can we back up a little bit and talk about what you studied in university? Because I'm not sure that we did that earlier, but tell us a little bit what your studies look like.
Well, there are two bouts of studies, as it were. The
Mm-hmm.
first was as an operational meteorology, in operational meteorology, and that was at the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology in Barbados. That
Mm-hmm.
is the regional training center, as it were. And I went in there, and I was the youngest in the class.
Mm.
I think I was only 19 at the time.
Wow.
It hadn't been too long after I got out of school, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was very well prepared. I had my A level math, and to give you an idea how important math was, the course was 18 months long, 16 of it is mathematics. So
Oh.
by the time you're finished with that course, you just go and spend a semester or two in college, and you have a bachelor's degree in mathematics. All
Mm.
right. Um, and then I had Mr. Sambula, and Mr. Sambula deserves a ton of praise for his preparation for me and everything else, because um, I was already analyzing surface and up air charts before I went to Barbados, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody else in that class but myself knew how to analyze those charts. Now, analyzing those charts is a culmination of two things. Number one, Mr. Sambula and his work with me, but also, I should mention also the Cayman Islands High School, because I did A level geography. And in A
Mm-hmm.
level geography, we actually did height contours. And the analysis of a surface chart is
Mm-hmm.
called an isobaric chart. An isobaric chart is very, very similar to a constant height chart that you would do for height contours. All right. So
Mm.
my first charts were done based on my A level training, more than what Mr. Sambula had taught me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, between that and then Mr. Sambula was showing me some of the university level textbooks and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was very, very well prepared when I went. On top of that, um, the the institute was having some problems with some of the weather services around the Caribbean. It
Mm-hmm.
set certain qualifications for people to attend those courses, and the national weather services around the Caribbean were not sending people with those qualifications. There were people that were coming in that probably should not have qualified for the course.
Mm.
Okay. I remember the very first day in the institute, there's a set of twins that ran the meteorology course,
Mm-hmm.
the Burtons, and they're two very distinct brothers. One is a
Mm-hmm.
brilliant teacher, and the other one is, for better use of the word, a lab rat. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
used as kind of derogatory terms, but and the first day, the good teacher he bucks us up, and He says, "Good morning. I'm Horace Burton, and guess what? We're going to do a test." Day
Mm-hmm.
one, before we even get into anything else, we're doing a test. And like myself, and there were two others that had A-level mathematics, and we breezed through the test
Mm-hmm.
very easy, and it went all the way back to third form high school.
Mm.
So it was very simple for us. But there were individuals on the course that only got 15%.
Wow.
So that kind of told you some of and why Mr. Burton had to do it that way is because he needed to know where to start teaching.
Yes.
So, but the course was rather lengthy
Mm.
for a 19-year-old that was getting quite a bit homesick by the time
Mm-hmm.
the course was finished. And some of the latter parts of it certainly wore on me quite much. But the
Mm-hmm.
earlier parts was a lot of excitement and stuff like that. And that's the forecaster course in Barbados. The other course is my bachelor's degree in meteorology, which was
Mm-hmm.
carried out at Mississippi State. It's an online course, but really and truly, most of it was basically a refresher course of the earlier operational forecaster course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, it did bring some extra things to the table, as it were, because that course is a bachelor's degree in science with a major in operational meteorology. That means that I got to train on volcanoes, um,
Wow.
earthquakes, tsunamis, and those kind of stuff. That gave me some insight into those that would play its own dividends. Not so much from the volcano side, but certainly
Mm-hmm.
between the earthquakes and tsunamis side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So beyond that, there's been quite a number of um, courses that I've attended, workshops that I've attended over the years,
Mm-hmm.
from aviation meetings in Costa Rica and Colombia, to developmental products in China. It's I also went for regional meetings in Cancun and Nassau over the years. So there's been a lot of opportunity for growth and development within the field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Truly amazing. So, are you the first Caymanian to have a degree in meteorology?
Not the degree.
Okay.
The degree is Mr. Kerry Powery.
Okay.
Okay.
But
I think it's
mhm,
Kerry or Mr. Porter, one of the two of them. What was happening basically at the time was is that I I'm the first qualified forecaster,
right.
first Caymanian qualified forecaster.
Okay.
And most of the meteorologists, meteorological forecasters around the Caribbean were at that time just operating with that operational forecaster qualification from CIMH.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I had gotten to a point, and the World Meteorological Organization was starting to have conversations about how do you define a meteorologist.
Mm,
And so I had actually started the online course at Mississippi State, and I was basically about three-quarters of the way through, but I was funding it myself.
mm-hmm.
Okay. And about that time, Mr. Sambula comes and he says, "John, I got you a scholarship to go
Mm,
to Barbados to do the forecaster course, to get your bachelor's degree." And I said,
right.
"Well, Sam, this doesn't really make sense.
Uh-huh.
I'm almost finished the online version,
Right.
so let me finish. I'll just stick here and do the online version." And he chose. I can't remember if it was Mr. Porter or Mr. Parry, one of the two, to go
Mm-hmm.
to the University of the West Indies. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, whichever one it was, they finished a month or two before me
Mm-hmm.
with the bachelor's degree.
Okay. So different pathways,
Yeah,
but still getting you to the end point. And
yeah,
of course, then in 1999, you were promoted to chief meteorologist. And since then it's been a whirlwind for you, I suppose, quite literally and figuratively. Has there ever been anything in the weather, like any occurrence that has really surprised you? Like the other day when we had that water spout that came on land. I mean, I was a
yeah.
little bit shocked by that. Has there been anything, because your hurricanes, okay, we know they're coming. We have an idea of the intensity. Earthquakes, not so much in terms of predictability. Any event that surprised you and took you completely off guard?
Well, I mean, first of all, the water spout that was at the Grand Cayman Hotel the other day
Mm-hmm.
is not completely unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I remember distinctly that there was a little place that was down the road from the Burger King
Mm-hmm.
places on the seaside there, and people used to pull up their fishing boats there and stuff like that. And one water spout came over there and destroyed that place.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember another one went ashore in Prospect, and me and Mr. Tambula went and investigated that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was also one that there was also an event that basically lifted the roof of Funky Tank building. That
Wow.
has a different mechanism.
Okay.
That one's more heat driven.
Right.
But I remember that one, and then recently with I think it was Hurricane Eta. There
Mm-hmm.
was basically a tornado came ashore, a water spout, and then when it gets to shore, you can call it a tornado once it gets on land, as it were. Sometimes you get a little bit picky with the distinction once it's overseas or the water spout. Sometimes we call them fair weather water spouts. Other times we call them tornadic type water spouts, depending on
Mm-hmm.
the strength of them. But this one came ashore and it actually went up across the Texaco countryside.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to get CCTV to do some confirmation of it. Fortunately, we were not allowed to use that video on a more public type forum, as it were, but we could use it for collecting
Mm-hmm.
the evidence of it. But we could see that it bounced and what have you, and it kind of went up, lifted off the ground, as it were, and then came
Mm.
back down and stuff like that. And
Wow.
Mr. Tambula Mr. Clark did a fantastic job of doing research on it and what have you.
Wow. Huh.
So, other than that, we've also had some major nor'westers over the years and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So we can't forget those as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My goodness. All right, let me just do a quick public service announcement. The RCAPS has informed us, and in fact, I knew this coming into the studio and forgot to post it, so I'm going to post it now, that there is some additional vehicular traffic that is being diverted from the Hurley Marin Boulevard to Shamrock Road due to serious collision, and motorists who are heading west are being encouraged to proceed with caution. So this accident happened right in the vicinity, like almost across from the licensing department this morning. So we want to encourage you to please take your time. It does involve a motorbike and a silver vehicle. We're going to just post this up now. And yeah, just be careful out there, folks. I mean, my goodness, can't ask you enough to be careful on the roadway, especially now that school has started back. We've got additional cars with kids in it and buses and so on. So take your time, slow down, and just be careful. Yeah, oh my goodness. All right, folks. Abby is here for it. She says the rotation of our Earth causes a lot of weather events. Can you please assure Caymanians that the planet isn't flat? Baffles me. Baffles me that a lot think that. All right, you're going to be the expert this morning. Is the Earth flat or not?
It's not flat. The flatness of it, amazingly enough, is only our own perspective, as it were.
Yeah.
But to give you an idea of something, our weather radar out in East End, it sends out a beam, basically horizontal to the surface of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. By the time it gets to the sister islands, it's up, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 miles up in the air.
Mm.
Okay. And that's because of the curvature of the Earth.
Yes.
The other part, for those that believe the Earth is flat, with a flat Earth, you can't get the rotational that you need to generate things like hurricane and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not possible. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it seems like common sense, and we all thought that this was long, resolved. But there you go. But thank you, Abby, for the question. No doubt, you gave a lot of us a good chuckle here this morning. And folks, I've sent out the accident alert there in the news. Oh, somebody says they think it's actually across the street from Barcam. Maybe that's that building in the background. I'm looking at it and I was thinking it was further up, but you know what? I think you're right. I think the building that I'm looking at is the new warehouses that A.L. Thompson's is building right across from Barcam. Oh, yes. I looked at it at first and I thought, oh, that's where the air conditioning, but that is even the color of that building. I can only see a snippet in the background. Thank you so much to our astute listeners who are clearly paying attention and have identified the location a little bit better than me. As you could see, John, I would not be good at forecasting. You don't want to put me in charge of the weather or anything where you need precise locations. That's for sure. All right. So thank you so much. Machina is here for it. She says, John Tibbetts Sr., you've been such a beacon of spiritual guidance throughout the lives of so many Caymanians. I feel blessed to have had you as a mentor, which came full circle from youth group at the age of 10 to working together many years later. You will forever have a special place in my heart. Your compassion and guidance will never be forgotten. Wishing you all the rest and relaxation you deserve. Aw, that is so sweet. Thank you, Sheena. That's amazing. So,
I I have uh, some interesting stories in life, as it were. There was a part of me that was I was a church pastor at one point, and a youth leader. Okay, and Machine actually knows me from that side of the world. And interestingly, that the pastor at that time, he said to me, he said, John, he said, anybody asks you what you're doing, you're working for the Lord,
mm,
and on the side, you're working at the weather service to put some bread on your table.
mhm.
So, and I used to run two youth programs, a younger group that's like 8 to 12 year olds, and then a younger program that was 13 to like about 21 or something like that. He
Mm,
comes out of the younger group, and amazingly enough, when we became a national weather service in 2010, and then in
mhm.
2014 when I took over, who should become my first human resources officer? Machine Ebanks.
Wow.
So we play full circle.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough, Mr. Powery actually was actually uh, attended my youth program many years ago, as well as Mr. Miller, who are some significant higher ups in the weather service. And
Hmm.
that we've reconnected beyond just those days.
Mm. So amazing. Tell me a little bit about the transition of it becoming the National Weather Service. So then it became its own standalone entity at that particular time. What was that like?
Well, over the years, obviously the weather service was aviation driven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but beyond that, even though we were aviation driven, whenever we had a storm, the weather service had Mr. Sambula and myself had to be doing presentations to the Hurricane Committee.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because we were the ones with the meteorological knowledge to understand, to track storms and what have you. And Mr. Sambula had started was attending regional meetings. Things like when they're retiring hurricane names, when they're producing new names, and when the hurricane seasonal forecast comes out and what have you. All those kind of things was there. Um, when I took over in 2014, one of the realizations that I had basically was that in 2010, even though we became a national weather service, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
our structure was still that of an aviation forecast office.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started making some changes, having specialized individuals that dealt with aviation, and dealt with agriculture as it be in Cayman Islands, marine, and what have you, research, meteorological research, and what have you. And so some of that transition some of that transition has to take place. It is still ongoing. It hasn't stopped yet. Um,
Mhm.
we are still quite a ways from a fully fitted out National Weather Service. However, big kudos to CAPSEC Samuel Rose, and one of his right hands, Miss Cassandra Morris, in the work that they're doing for the National Weather Service. Um, one in terms of some of the stuff that they're doing is adding the necessary staffing to the
Mhm.
organization, and or putting in some of the infrastructure that we need. The weather radar is one part of it. We now have 5 automatic weather stations around the Cayman Islands. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the data from those 5 automatic weather stations live in the office,
Mhm.
but they haven't got them yet to go to the website, I don't believe.
Mhm.
And so, we'll be able to say, well, what the weather's like in Frank Sound, what's the weather like in West Bay, Cayman Brackley, Little Cayman,
Wow.
once those go live.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There's
Wow.
also weather buoys and storm surge sensors on the way, and those are all to be installed later on this year. And of course, the crown jewel, as it were, is the National Weather Service building. Practically sitting in each other's laps. We're in such need of space. That building is expected to go online later on this year.
Mhm. Fantastic. Now, you mentioned the technology. We're going to talk about some of that here now, but the weather radar has been, I think, a pain in your neck because, boy, you went through a period there where it was like, is it down today? Is it up today? Parts needed to be ordered. I'm assuming that has settled down because I haven't heard anything about it recently. But as you have these technological advances and you become more reliant in a way on the technology helping you forecast the weather and helping you do your job, that means that we're subject to things breaking and parts not being available. What are some of the most important lessons that you have learned about how to sort of manage doing your job, integrating technology, and then when it all goes to hell in a handbasket and that radar isn't working again, and the people breathing down your neck because they can't see something on a website? How do you manage that?
Wow.
I
Well,
know.
first of all, it's good to have good public education, and good communication with the public about what's going on.
Hmm.
The weather radar is not a simple piece of machinery. It is very, very complex,
Hmm.
and a lot of times we've had down times for that weather radar because of the air conditioning. Believe it or not,
Hmm.
because if the radar is not cool enough, the
Right.
radar will shut down.
Ah,
Here's
okay.
another fun fact for you. If the dome is leaking and there's too much moisture in the dome, the radar
Hmm.
will shut down. So
Mm.
we've
Okay.
had we've hurricane after Hurricane Grace, um, we developed leaks in the dome. So we had to get specialized individuals to come from overseas, to do the repairs on the dome.
Hmm.
All right, and while the repairs were being done, we couldn't run the radar. Okay,
Hmm.
so we've had a bunch of issues over the years. And one of the unfortunate sides of things, as it were, is that just like myself, the radar gets old.
Hmm.
And when you get a radar up 10, 12, 13 years old, as this radar had become, you start to see an increase in downtime.
Hmm.
Okay. If you look at the first 5, 7, 8 years of this radar, you didn't have nothing to speak about.
Hmm.
It's after that is when the problems started popping up. The other thing with it is that getting back to how the technicality of the radar itself, um, it needs proper technical support. The
Mm-hmm.
National Weather Service at this point has one officer, one Mr. Michael Carey. Mr. Michael Carey is the brains behind the weather radar working or not working. And I say he takes all the blame because the thing about it is that um, some of the repairs require the manufacturer to come down and fix the radar whenever it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been a touch and go. It has been, the team has really been doing a lot of work with it. It was good, especially from the point of the cabinet office, to see that they had turned to and gave us so much support with the radar, so much so now that we, technically speaking, have a brand new radar. Now, when you say you have a brand new radar, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it didn't mean that we tore down the radar building and rebuilt a new building and all that kind of stuff. It didn't mean that we took out the old radar and threw it away and put in a whole brand new radar. That's not what a new radar means.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What a new radar means is that the manufacturer looked at the radar equipment and took out some of the most significant components of the radar and replaced them with
Mm-hmm.
brand new pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a big central machinery computer box, as it were.
Right.
Um, that whole box was replaced.
Wow.
All right,
Yes.
and they actually had to send their technician down to take it apart and to reinstall a new one. So we now have a new one. What has happened since the installation of the new radar has more to do with the air conditioning system than the
Mm-hmm.
radar itself. There was some minor glitches with the radar, but there was most of it is air conditioning issues.
Mm-hmm.
The building was actually designed with an air conditioning unit, which is more European in nature, and the expertise for those on the island is somewhat limited, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing about the radar. In terms about technology with the weather service, um, please understand I come from a generation where satellite pictures weren't on computers. Satellite pictures came through once or twice a day on a heated ink paper type setup. And you would just take the map off, tear the map off of the paper sheet and stick it up.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't dig into into each one of the pictures and see exactly how cold the tops of the clouds were,
Mm-hmm.
how much rainfall was occurring, anything like that. When you get to computers of today now, they can
Mm-hmm.
do those things. All right.
Right.
Back in about 1918, one of the first major projects I undertook basically was the putting in of a home station for the GOES-R satellite system. And that is supposed to give us quite an advancement in technology and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other things include things like, when we have our armchair experts in the world today that
Mm-hmm.
go on the internet and look at weather charts and see things, you're looking at weather models that various agencies around the world use. Most of those are regional models,
Right.
and the pixel size on those is larger than the Cayman Islands. That means that technically speaking, those models don't even see the Cayman Islands.
Hmm.
Now, along the lines comes Mr. Shamal Clark, who is kind of holds specialty expertise not only in meteorology but also in computer science. And so, with advances in technology and what have you, he's now able to take that model and downsize it so that he's now seeing change of resolution dramatically now that the new modeling now can see the Cayman Islands. If for those that look at marine charts, you will notice that um, all of the winds and seas across the Cayman Islands are all east to northeast, east to northeast in
Mm-hmm.
nature. But if you're swimming out on the 7 Mile beach, you notice that the waves come in from the west.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason for it, is because of the resolution of the regional maps. Now, he's got marine maps in the office that we're using on an experimental basis.
Mm-hmm.
And he will eventually put those on the website and what have you, where you'll see that wraparound westerly wave action that come on the 7 Mile beach. So
Okay.
there's piles and piles of technology that's in the Weather Service.
Mm-hmm.
Got to big up Miss Carrie Forbes. She has been handling all of our statistical weather observations and what have you, and
Mm-hmm.
producing drought and rainfall predictions and what have you through the regional project. But she's also using her own expertise here and her own data set and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, listen, let me ask you a quick question, John. How are you for time? I know we said an hour, but we're having so much fun here. We might go over a little bit. Are you okay? Or you
uh,
got something
I'm
pressing?
fine. I'm working from home today.
Okay. Awesome. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And just like that, we lost him. All right. Let's do a quick commercial break, which is why I was going to ask him that. And he'll pop back on. Last night, we had a community meeting, consultation meeting in West Bay. Now, this evening, if you missed that one or West Bay was too much of a drive for you, please don't forget the Ministry of Health is actually going to be in town this evening at 6:30. So you definitely want to attend this one if you can.
As Minister for Health, Environment and Sustainability, I'd like to personally invite you to join me at one of our upcoming public town hall meetings. We're discussing proposed changes to legislation covering environmental health, tobacco and vaping, public health, health practice, and I want to hear from you. Whether you have questions, concerns, or ideas to share, these meetings are an opportunity for open conversation about issues that affect us all. Join us at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, the 26th of August at the John Gray Memorial Church Hall in West Bay, or at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 27th of August at Constitution Hall in Georgetown. Come out, meet your neighbors, share your perspective, and be a part of shaping the future of health in our islands. Light refreshments will be available, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Think on an okay, man? Get out and explore the legends behind our landmarks competition. Visit any landmark on interactive map, snap a photo or video, then share it to Instagram or Facebook and tell us what you learned. Tag at MYSCH_Cayman and use hashtag legends behind our landmarks for your chance to win weekly prizes and 2 major prizes. The more landmarks you visit, the more chances you have to win. Visit Legends Behind Our Landmarks.ky and find out where we from. Brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage.
Hi, my name is Dr. Nigel Killow. I'm a new pain specialist here at Health City. I specialise in complex spinal problems, cancer pain, nerve pain, and any otherwise difficult to treat pain. And I look forward to meeting you and helping to treat your patients. Or if you are a patient, I'll be delighted to meet you and help you anytime.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. So just wanted to remind you guys about that consultative meeting this evening, Ministry of Health. Make sure you attend. Like I said, they had West Bay last night, and this is your opportunity to get involved. So let's go ahead and pull Mr. John back into the studio. And thank you so much. So we got Anthony here with Anthony. I don't know if something's been going on with your phone lately, but some of what you're typing is a little bit... you said that, okay, it's good that he acknowledged his predecessors for his career guidance and development.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me? Uh-oh. We can hear you. Can you hear us, John? I'm not so sure he can hear us. Oh, let me send a little message here. We can hear him, but I think he's not able to hear us. Hold on a second. Okay. So just double check the mic settings there. Yes. Oh, check your settings again. I think when you got kicked out, it may have reset. Yeah, okay. All right, let's give him a second just to get those sorted out real quick, and then we'll put them back in. But you said, with that being said, his predecessor was an expat and we need more of them. Did you mean to say we need more, or we need less of them? I'm not so sure. Anthony, slow down with the typing. I think you're typing too fast or something. Jonathan, Adam, I was going to read your comment, but I see you're here anyway.
I appreciate it.
All
Hi,
right.
good morning, Sandra.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tibbetts. First of all, thank you very much, sir, for your service to the Cayman Islands over the years.
I'm going to say thank you in his behalf, because I'm not sure he can hear us quite yet, but he's working on it.
Okay. Well, I certainly remember when my dad took me to visit the office when I was very small, knee-high to the grasshopper, and I remember him being in there from then.
Yes.
My question for Mr. Tibbetts is this. I've heard talk up on my farm up in East End and surrounding areas. There's a question as it pertains to what, if any, regulations are there pertaining to the radiation, the radar's radiation, and is there a set field of distance that we should be keeping folks from, whether they're in their houses or if they're working in the fields, from the radiation? I'd love if he could clarify that matter for us and give us a straight answer. What regulations there are, what safety protocols exist, and clarify for the public what type of radiation and whether that is a valid concern, because I've heard more than one person talking to me on the matter.
So the question is about radiation from the radar out in
From
East End.
the radar installation, yes, ma'am. Because there's a lot of farmland there. There are some houses coming up around it. Of course, the Poinciana place, Poinciana, whatever, the place there. So I'd love for Mr. Tibbetts to share his knowledge on what human safety protocols are in place for the radiation itself that comes off the Doppler that we have there.
All right. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Appreciate it. I think he's still sorting out where he can hear us, the audio bit. So a couple questions have come in, and somebody else did ask that question as well. So yes. Okay. So John, give us a thumbs up. He says he doesn't have the technical knowledge to fix this problem. Only weather radars. Let me see. Okay. And check the audio source. Let me see if I can help you out here. Hold on one second. Audio. Okay. Let me see. All right, give me a second. Okay. I think sometimes it helps if you do use a headphone, but let me just see. It was working, so we know. Let's just see here. I'm going to send him a couple screenshots, see if I can help him out. All right. Okay. Oh, yes. And he can also do the Guess app if he's on an iPhone. Okay. All right. Let's give him a few seconds. Oh, someone says, what's up with the traffic on the east-west arterial, bumper to bumper, all the way to Prospect Primary and not moving at all? Welcome back to school. Yikes. I don't know if the accident would be impacting them because it's not exactly on the east-west, but everything has a trickle-down effect, I feel like, one accident happens and it impacts everybody else. All right, let's give Mr. John a second here, see if he can get back with us. I did pull up a few pictures from the archive, so what I'm going to do is, while he's hopefully rejoining us, I'm going to just pull those into the studio as well, so that hopefully we can walk down memory lane with him. Photo edition. And I'm going to see if he remembers. We're going to test how good his memory is. See if he remembers some of these events. Any luck there? Can you hear me now? Let me see. How is that? Any luck? Hello. Can you hear me? Anything?
Sorry, I can't hear you, Sandra.
Oh man. Oh boy. Let me think now. Edit. Do you see a little button there for settings and then audio? Let me see. I'll ask him if he has any headsets. Do you have wired or just any headsets? Try using that. Sometimes that helps. I can get today's show. Oh boy. All right, let's try it. Okay. Sometimes if you use headsets, it just works. Yeah. All right. We'll get it sorted out one way or the other. And we've got someone saying that they can't find the show. You gotta follow the channel. This is where, the reusable links, I think, helps people like this who every day they're like, I'm lost. I don't know where to find you. All right, give us a second. I'm gonna just suggest tomorrow is great for lunch meeting. Here I am multitasking. All right. Let me see. Okay. So we're gonna, like I said, pull up photos to John here, and we're gonna check and see if he remembers. I think he's gone to try to get some headsets. If he remembers these events, where he was, what he was doing, and yeah, just pulling these into the studio. Okay. Let us know, Mr. John, how that's looking. Oh, he says he doesn't have any. Oh my goodness. Ooh, so everybody got slowed down. Good morning. I'm stuck in the accident. We had to turn around and rejoin the roundabout by Red Bay Primary. So everybody got slowed down. So, yeah. Okay. All righty. Morning, both lanes in front of bar camera closed. Cars are being diverted to Red Bay Road. Yes, because of that accident, folks. That's exactly what's going on here. Thank you so much for that. And unfortunately, this is what happens in morning traffic. It literally takes, can you hear us now? It literally takes one event to throw you off. And I guess we didn't have anything major yesterday, thankfully. And I'm not entirely surprised this morning that we have an accident. And by the way, it is involving a motorbike. Quite interestingly enough, just yesterday I was speaking to a motorbike rider, and I said to him, I'm going to show you some of the pictures from the accident. I said to him, he was talking about, morning traffic has restarted, and, he's a motorbike rider. And I said, ooh, my goodness, you couldn't get me on a bike in Cayman. I'm sorry, but no. And he said the things that he sees on Cayman's roads as a bike rider, as a motorbike rider, is oftentimes very, very shocking. He said he've actually, because the position of his bike in relation to cars, he said, Sandy, I've seen a person working on a laptop and driving, like typing full on, laptop open, and they're driving and typing and working on laptop and driving in morning traffic. I'm just like, you'd have to be a pretty good, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you have to be pretty good at multitasking in order for that to work out in your favor. So here's the car. It looks like a little Mini Cooper and a motorbike. So we ask you folks to please be cautious on the roadways. It's dangerous out there, even on a good day. And I'm hoping that, the bike person here is not injured. But again, take your time, slow down. And if you're on a bike, know that you've got to be looking out, as the bike rider said to me yesterday, 10 cars ahead. He's got to be paying attention, trying to anticipate what everybody else is doing. All right, Mr. John, should we try it again? Let's see. Can you hear me now? Okay, he's still working on it. I know it's not. It's just one little thing in the settings. He's just got to make sure that the speaker is on the right one, and then we're gonna get it. I do believe he's gonna figure it out. Hey, Leroy. Leroy says, could it be the accident with the motorcycle? Yes, that's exactly what's slowing down traffic at every point this morning. If you're coming from the eastern districts, if you didn't get out during that sweet spot, which I think for our household, we were good because we leave out by a certain time. I'd be hearing the rustling in the morning. Dad's like, come on, Gigi, we got to hurry up and beat traffic, because there's a sweet window. And when you miss that window, even on a good day, your traffic woes can be, can be a lot. So someone says, ask John to restart. That fixed 90% of the issues in life. All right. He's joining from his phone. So I'm going to ask him if he has a laptop. Okay. Aw. If not, we will have to move on. It was so nice chatting with him, though. And I wanted to do my photo thing down memory lane with him as well. All right. So, Raymond says, I can confirm people putting on makeup, eating, phones, all sorts of distractions. Now, I'm going to fess up to sometimes putting on, not eyeliner, but a couple times I'll do the mascara. But I don't really have to look in the mirror for that. I can just do that freehand without even looking in the mirror and still have my eyes on the road, which is, I don't make it a habit. But there's been a couple emergency situations, and if I'm stuck in bumper to bumper, I make sure I'm not driving at I take like a quick little minute and just go toot, 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 toot. And then if I have to pull forward, put my hand back on the steering wheel. But yeah, Raymond, all of us, I think, are guilty of probably bad road habits from time to time. Leroy says, I've seen people eating food on the phone at the same time. You know what? Those amazing dash cams that we have for sale right here in CMR? Have you gotten your dash cam yet, honey Jill? If you haven't, I just had a parent say to me the other day, oh my God, my daughter had a close call. And I said, but sir, you bought a dash cam last year for said same daughter. You haven't installed it yet? You better go find that dash cam. Here's the installer's number. I've seen that exact thing, Leroy, person about a week or two who had just bought a dash cam from us, called me and said, Sandy, I need help accessing the files on the dash cam. I said, oh, what happened? Somebody just ran into my taxi van. I said, what? Already? That's wild. And they're like, yeah. Okay, hold on. I think he's getting there. Permissions to audio, shows video. I said, this is crazy. So when I went to look at, I just said, I'll come by your house and have a look. And I was showing them how to do it, because you can do it from your phone, download the video clip. We realized the guy Leroy was having not just a patty and a Jupina or a patty and a Pepsi, because, we all do that in a car. This was a full-on meal. Somebody starved that man himself, probably, decided not to eat all day long. And here we are in 5 o'clock traffic, bumper to bumper. And this dude is so hungry, he's having dinner in the car. And you could see it. He's sitting there eating, driving a few feet, eating, stop, drive, stop, go, eating and eat. And at one point, he put his head down and he underestimated the fact that the car in front of him hadn't moved as much as he thought. And he's there with, I'm talking about knife and fork, plastic knife and fork, plastic styrofoam container. And that man was in there eating like this and went bam, right into the taxi, right in the rear end. And it was like, OMG. Then here's the best part of the story and why y'all all need a dash cam, right? So the guy gets out, taxi driver gets out. This is his taxi's damage. Says, okay, just pull over here. You know, that guy went about his business though. I'm just saying he didn't stop. So he's being motionless, pull over, exchange information. You give me your insurance. He took off. So the customer was trying to get the footage to be able to give it to the RCIPS so that they could pull his license plate number because everything was crystal clear. We could see him having dinner and his head was down when he ran into the person. So these cameras are amazing because they give you all of they give you all of the evidence that you need. And that evidence can be taken to court. It can be used to, let me see. It can be used to get the police to look somebody up. Because once they saw the video of exactly what happened, they saw the entire incident leading up to it, how it was stop and go. And then all of a sudden, bam, he just ran into him. They saw the fact that he was eating dinner and the whole 9 yards. This was an open and shut case. There was no argument here about what really happened. Yeah. So what a hot mess. Get yourselves a dash cam, honey child. You need that added protection. Now, for those of you on bikes, I think there are dash cams for cyclists as well. And if I were you, I would definitely invest in one of those. I mean, I haven't looked into that too much, but I would say, yeah, that would be a good idea. Hillary says, Leroy, that's very bad and unsafe for everyone. Yeah, I mean, but people do it. Like I said, it's one thing to be biting a little sandwich or something that you can hold in one hand and still, keep your eyes on the road, keep your hand on the steering wheel and keep driving. But no, honey child, these people are doing the most. Yeah, e-bike riders, we certainly don't expect you to be having sandwiches while you're because that's already a very dangerous and precarious situation. Breezes says, what's your installer's number and how much are they selling them for? So we sell them, meaning I actually have a retail company and we bring them in. So if you reach out to me directly in 324-1612, can get your camera to you today. And then I will forward you the installer's information and you reach out to him directly for installation. How many dash cams have you sold? I've lost count. Not that I was really counting, but a few, I would say, because people see the sense in it. I mean, it's an investment literally in your own safety. And I hate to say it, but, I've had several people within a short of installing them, then an accident happened. And it's like, how? And it's statistically, statistically annoying that it happens, but it just goes to show you that having an accident is more likely than not in this day and age. So I'm not sure Mr. John is going to be able to get back on. Let's give it one more shot. I don't give up easy, as you know. All right, one more shot. I've asked him to restart the phone. Let's see what happens. Okay, so quick question here, folks. Anybody missing a rabbit? There is a little rabbit that has, he's brown. I can't show my daughter this picture because, girl, she would insist that we adopt this rabbit and we give him a good home. And he's so cute. And he's been moving around the place. And I don't know who gets a rabbit and then allows it to escape. Although we had one in our neighborhood. Ooh, he was something else. Miss Stacy said I haven't seen him in a while, but he's now a wild rabbit because Miss Stacy said she saw him recently, and he was actually underneath my car, hiding. And I thought, what? Hiding from that hot sun? Let's see if Mr. John can hear me. All right. So yeah, it's so wild. But anyway, he's still around the place. I'm surprised, but we would leave water out for him at night. So he had fresh water and some apple and stuff like that. And, you know, what Anthony said, and he has, he's still sneaking around. But if you have lost a brown and white rabbit, please reach out to us. We're trying to get this rabbit back to the owner. And perhaps you've seen him before. I think his coloring, he's so cute. He is. This person found him and he was out in the hot sun. So they wanted to bring him into safe space, but they don't have the capacity to keep him long term. So let me know. Oh, okay. Yeah. Mr. John, do you want to do it where you're hearing the audio from one? I mean, there might be a slight delay doing it that way, but we might be able to wrap it up. So Anthony says, Sandy, I'm honestly disappointed. Since the introduction of the dash cam video footage on the CMR page, I've seen very minimal, no action. Anthony, well, not everybody has a dash cam. Unfortunately, most of these people are having accidents still out here doing the most. Oh, speaking of dash cam people, Miss Omiria, did you ever get yours installed? Yeah. George says, good morning, Sandy. The traffic will be so bad that most people have to pull over and sleep in their cars. Lord mercy, not that. Not sleeping in your cars, honey child. I think if you, by the way, I think if you turn off the camera, even if it says no device, you can still jump on. So look for that little button there. Okay, let's see. All right, let me just try this. Sometimes these things happen. So, okay, press that camera button and see. All right. So yes, but we've had, Anthony, to your point, we've had some pretty spectacular footage though that dash cam did catch, and we're like, whoa, remember the guy in the another motorcyclist, another motorbike rider, slammed right into the nice lady's fancy car. What was she driving? She was driving I can't remember now what brand it was, but it was a pretty penny to fix that vehicle. Kind of find out he has no insurance, no nothing. Ay. Leroy says, adopt him. Him and Zeus will be best friends. Bugs Bunny looking for carrots. I don't know, to be honest, if Zeus would be able to get on with things like a rabbit. I'm going to just tell her to take him to Animal House. They can probably keep him until it's adopted or something. How long do rabbits live, by the way? I think when you get an animal, you got to know all of these things about a rabbit and other creatures before you adopt them. You know, Anthony says he's looking for some LAPD action. No, you did not. So yes, unfortunately, this little rabbit is looking for a nice little home. So if you're missing a rabbit, by all means, reach out and we will reunite you with this little fella if he belongs to you. Or if we can't find his owner and you can give him a good home. Now, remember, ideally, I think they should be kept inside. I can't imagine that fur during summer heat. Yeah. I can't imagine that summer heat is fun. So with fur, so you got to be able to keep them inside in a nice cool area. On a porch or something like that might be acceptable, but it is hot as heck out there. So yeah, be careful. Marshall says dogs normally kill rabbits. Oh my Lord. I don't know that Zeus is that ferocious, but he doesn't know what to do with a rabbit. So I think he would be more curious probably than anything else. All right, let me see. John, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Sorry, Sandra, not hearing you.
You still not hear me? Huh. Oh boy. All right. I don't know. The guy in the bike works PWD, I'm hearing. Oh yes, Natasha's car. That's what I was thinking about. Jaguar. Yes. One leg, one arm, and fingers broken. What on earth? All right, John can't hear us. I'm thinking of a solution here. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I think maybe I'll just call him. Hold on. We're gonna find a workaround here today. Workaround to the tech issues. All right, I'm gonna mute him there, and then let me see. I'm trying to see if I can mute your mic so that you don't have an echo going on, and then you just talk here where you can hear me.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually. When I go on my phone, I don't hear you, and when I go on the laptop,
You hear me, but then you can't come on with audio. That's okay. All right. So I was gonna do a trip down memory lanes with some photos, and then we're gonna wrap it up to see how good your memory is after 42 years. Do you remember? I know. Do you remember this event? Dun dun dun.
Wait, I need to see. I need to be able to see the picture. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Trying to see how much you can remember. Thank you so much. Leroy. Oh, they can live for 15 years. Wow, that's a long time. Okay. All right.
Oh my.
Yes.
This is just a few years ago. When Miss Julie was the acting premier.
Okay. The event was the National Hurricane Conference. So, of course, you work very closely with other agencies such as Hazard Management. And as you said, the CABSEC really has been amazing in ensuring that you guys have the budget and the funding to do your jobs. Here's another one. Now, I know you've been in a lot of these rooms before, situation rooms as they are. Tell us a little bit about what this is that we see on the screen.
So this looks like the NEOC, the Emergency Operations Center. Whenever we're having a storm, the various agencies that put together for to support hazards management and the work that they do, we sit around some common tables, as it were, where agencies that are sitting around those tables have something in common that they're working on. So, for example, a communications group, for example, and the National Weather Service will go into that room and provide presentations for the storm information and answering questions that the group might have for them.
Wonderful. How about this one?
This looks like a groundbreaking for the National Weather Service.
That's right. That's right. So one of the things, I mean, you're retiring before it's completed, but it looks like it's almost done, to be honest. But the National Weather Center is that building that is right across from Jose Zesso, right?
Correct.
And it's gone up pretty quickly.
It's behind the traffic department, but the whole process to get that building started way back in 2015.
Wow.
That's how long it's taken us to get to that point. And we've gone through a number of governments. I remember in 2021, the PPM government was still in power at the time, and the was at that point getting ready to build a building.
Uh-huh.
Right at that time, we were also having an election, and they wanted it to be, they didn't know what the outcome of the election would be, if we were going to still be the same ministries and stuff like that, and the same makeup of the ministries. And so they held off on it, figuring that whoever took over responsibility for the National Weather Service would take up the mantle and move on to constructing the building.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they broke ground in 2023. So this was the groundbreaking ceremony that we see here. And completion is supposed to be this year?
The building is on the verge of being completed right now. We're
Right.
having a bit of complexities with regards to the upper air section of it, specifically the hydrogen generator and hydrogen tank room and what have you that we're working through, and they're looking to try to move into the building later on this year after hopefully resolving those issues.
Very good. So Jonathan did call in and he was asking about the weather radar and whether or not, and Anthony kind of had a similar question. Anthony said, what about the feral environment to the public being exposed near active stations for people and wildlife, any sort of radiation? Are there any health risks with that radar that we need to be concerned about?
No, there's not. First of all, the concentration of an energy is along the line of the beam itself, and the beam is significantly above anything that's any building or anybody that's around that area. Number two is that the World Meteorological Organization, in terms of designing these weather radars and what have you, have in place strict safety measures and what have you, such that there's no concern for any kind of radiation or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. We also have a question here. Let me see. Jonathan says, what, if any, are the regulations regarding human habitation and the recommended distances from the radar? So, I mean, if there's no radiation exposure or concerns, are there any other limitations in how close you can build to a radar?
Okay, so interesting part was just that when we went out and we looked for locations of the radar, we had places in the sister islands, we had places in West Bay and in Georgetown and what have you. One of our main limitations was really the aviation field, because they actually have an area where we couldn't build within that area, so we had to get outside of that region. That being said, when we settled on the location out east, at that point, it didn't necessarily sound like they had plans on it, but I understand that since then plans came up to subdivide out the area for farming purposes. And so we reached out to the Caribbean Meteorological Organization and had them do a paper for us. And they concluded that there wouldn't be any safety concerns. The only thing they requested, I believe, was a 20-foot radius around the building itself, just to make sure that we can keep the place secure.
All right, very good. Thank you guys so much. Yes.
That was provided to the ministry at the time, so they actually have that document in hand, I believe.
All right, we have another question here. Let me just see. Someone said, ask John about the weather balloon. Do they still use it? I used to wait every evening or walk to the airport to see them off in the air. Oh.
Yeah. We release weather balloons 6 a.m. in the morning, 6 p.m. in the afternoon. However, we're going through a transition right now, moving from one site to the other. So the hydrogen generator and hydrogen tank itself, and hydrogen is the gas that we normally fill up the balloons with. They have already been relocated to the new building. And we need to resolve the issues there so we can restart the balloon releases. That being said, the balloon release point will be different. It'll no longer be at the old air station location or the General Aviation building as it's now known. It'll be over by the National Weather Service, and the balloon release will actually be from the second floor.
All right, we've got Leroy on the line. Leroy, good morning. We've got John here. How can we help?
How you doing, John? Good old buddy.
Not bad, my friend. How are you doing?
I remember you from Uncle Bill's days. I worked for your wife. Yeah, I went to your church also. I did ask you a question. There's a building behind the traffic department. I thought that was going to be the weather.
Yeah, he just answered that, so I think you might have missed it. So that is going to be the new home for the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. And it's coming closer to completion, but obviously they have to fit it out and do all those bits and pieces. But soon come. He said that it actually started in 2015. Takes time.
Yeah,
The construction of the building is in 2015, but the justification for it.
And they have to repair a whole wall or something. I talked to somebody in the IT department at one time. They said that they're going to be putting all brand new equipment up there for the IT.
Oh.
They're not going to be moving anything from the weather station.
So how did the gas station people know that? They got the sauce before everybody else?
Yeah, don't worry, we know stuff.
All right. Thank you so much, Leroy.
All right. Thank you, Mr. John.
All right, no problem.
All right.
I didn't catch that.
So,
Sandra, what did you say?
He was saying that the people at the gas station, I guess, I don't know, pump attendants or cashiers, were telling him that the office there, once it's completed, the building will have all new IT equipment. They're not going to be moving anything over. I mean, I doubt that, but there you go.
We have some very invaluable pieces of equipment already in the weather office, and those will be transferred over. However, there's a lot of the components will be brand new. So because we number one, we have everything where we're at right now, so we're going to be getting some new equipment, but there are some equipment that we have over there right now that will be transferred over.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Government isn't rolling in the dough quite like that. So we wish. Well, listen, John Tibbetts, we appreciate you so much. After 42 years of service to the people of the Cayman Islands, I think you have certainly earned a well-deserved break in retirement. Tell us what you've got planned once do you have any special trips planned? What's retirement look like for someone like you who's been on the go?
Well, first of all, I need some days without 50 emails in the morning to surf through.
Yes.
And try to figure out who gets the emails and who gets the training and what have you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, when you're retired, we actually had a visit from the deputy governor, and the staff asked him, he says, well, what are you going to do with retirement? And deputy governor said, well, I guess the best is anything I want to do. So, and are there trips planned? Yes, they're trip planned, and there are things to be accomplished and stuff like that. But I think the situation is going to be more along the lines of get a kind of a break from the office and from the task of being the director and of working with the National Weather Service all those years. Get a break from that first, and then settle down and decide on what you're going to do. I mean, there are some options. I play a lot of chess online, chess games, and so chess club. I at one point was involved in a chess club.
Okay.
So that's an option, and I was also in youth work and church ministry and stuff like that. Those are options as well. And land farm and Cayman Brack and all kind of stuff. So there are options all around, and I'll see where it comes out at the other end. But for right now, I just need a break from everything, stress and everything that's going on.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, congratulations again. And we're wishing you all the best with your retirement. And may you be able to kick up your feet and grab a tall glass of coconut water, hopefully in the Brack somewhere, lie in a hammock for a bit and do absolutely nothing.
Now, that sounds very delightful.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for joining us this morning. So sorry about the technical issues, but where there's a will, there's a way. So we found a workaround for it nonetheless. And we really appreciate you coming on the program.
All right. God bless. Take care of yourself, Sandra.
All right. Thank you so much again, folks. That's Mr. John Tibbetts, Sr. Really appreciate him coming on the program today. Quite a legacy he's leaving behind as it relates to the Cayman Islands, National Weather Service, and meteorology for these islands. So wow, quite something. 42 years of amazing service. We have quite a few, believe it or not, people coming up in this retirement group now. I was even hearing the other day, someone mentioned to me that we've got some firemen, some senior firemen that are coming up. So we look forward to having more of our Caymanians, long-serving civil servants on the program to tell us, what their journeys have been like. So that's super awesome. So who else was messaging me earlier? Yeah, Strong Will. We had the same idea, it looks like. Thank you. Thanks, John, says Leroy. Blessings on your retirement. Absolutely. You got to take time to kick up your feet and enjoy. Somebody else was saying that they don't have a mug or a pin or anything. Y'all better try and reach out to me while I still got some mugs. You never know what else you might get in your goodie bag. All right. So wonderful. And again, congratulations to Mr. John there, and wishing him all the best for his retirement. Yeah. What does retirement look like? I don't think I'll ever retire. I love what I do. And I don't really see it's a job, but not much of a job, but it's a job. Good morning, caller.
Yes, Sandy, good morning. I'm not sure if you know the incident or the accident, how serious that is.
Well, somebody said, I can tell you what my little sources said here. Of course, none of this has been verified, but someone said he's got a leg, an arm, and broken fingers. My God, that does not sound good.
Here's the thing, right? The car, the vehicle, which is in question, because I just passed it, was in the far right lane at Barcam.
Okay.
The motorcycle ended up on the opposite side of the lane coming up, where part LT is building that new building on the sidewalk.
So how did the two of them collide? They were on the same side at one point?
Apparently she might have went into his lane, and him trying to swerve away, went across, it went all the way to the other end. And it so subsequently happened exactly right where part that other gentleman had passed. Remember the gentleman several years ago that had passed away on a motorcycle, and they got the little reef right there for him?
Yes.
It's right there, exactly on that location. So it's right after you pass that, like not even 3 feet. He missed hitting that big old barrier that's right there.
Wow.
Where they have that reef where that gentleman hit. And he ended up on the opposite side. The motorcycle's on the opposite side by the sidewalk.
Oh my God.
So
well, he's lucky that it's not any more serious than that.
Well, he's very lucky that there was no car coming up.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, he's going down, and now he's hitting another vehicle coming the opposite direction.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
that could have ended really badly.
So people got to pay more attention. I don't know whose fault it is, but even though that attention is, like I said, I used to ride motorcycles before, because of my kids, they won't let me ride another bike again. But there's a saying on motorcycle riders: any side you hit is your side.
Exactly.
And we have like this, right. So like, I can hit your car, and you can say, "Oh well, Stanley got in an accident. Did they hit the side? Did they hit the back? Did they hit the front?" But any side on a motorcycle is your side. So we have to think as riders, like the other gentleman told you the other day, like 20 cars ahead. Like, is this person going to pull up on me? Is this person going to do this? Like, we always constantly thinking, what if?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So let's leave it there with that. Son.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I hope he's all right, though.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So thanks for the reminders. And absolutely, I was going to say, that's why I'm telling y'all could not get a bike. Right? Not sorry. You don't really have much protection. And the sad thing is people just don't see you. I know I've mentioned this book before called the Guerrilla Experiment. I think every driver needs to read that book because it lets you know how your subconscious mind works and how a lot of times we have a false sense of security when it comes to what we think we know, right? The brain is oftentimes very, very overconfident for most people. And so we don't see cyclists, walkers, and motorbike riders as much as we think. Yeah, so what a mess. But hopefully he's okay. But what I'm hearing is a broken finger, or broken fingers, leg and arm. So my gosh, I can't imagine. Wow. So. All right. So hopefully he's okay. George says, please get more active, John. We're at the age where we need to. Congrats, buddy. Always a bit of excellent advice to remain as active as possible. I woke up this morning feeling pretty good. And I was saying to myself, it's days like this that remind me of why it's so important to, and I'm nowhere near doing what I need to be doing in terms of physical activity. Trust and believe me, weights, especially weights for women, but all of us, is very, very important. So I'm gonna do better. But anywho, I was just thinking to myself this morning, you can't replace health and wellness with anything else. There's absolutely nothing in the world that if you got your health and you get up feeling great in the mornings, your whole day is just off to an amazing start. And yeah, I woke up on the right side of the bed. Technically, I sleep on the left, but I woke up on the right side of the bed feeling really, really good this morning. And when I got in the shower, the brain was on point. I was getting amazing ideas about stuff. And so I messaged somebody. I'm like, hey, I got this idea. And I wanted to let you know, I was thinking about it. What do you think? And so, yeah, make sure that we got to keep all those things at bay. So thank you so much, George, for the reminder. Leroy says, I need a mug for my peppermint tea. Oh, very nice. Glad to hear you drinking your tea, honey child. Good morning to the beautiful Miss Anne. She's been enjoying retirement life as well. Dean says, I have to wait until next year when I visit to get my mug, praying I'll get the visa. All right. Well, when you're here. Well, now, Dean, it does depend on where you are. Because, I frequent the USA all the time. So if you're in the States, just WhatsApp me your address. And the next time I'm there, I will put a mug in the post for you and make sure that you get it. See what I'm telling you? What I think I should do is for our American friends, especially, is just keep a set of mugs at the mailbox. And then just tell them to, whenever I have a request, just, hey, ship the mug to this address for me. Now, there's a good idea. Talking about the brain working. Honey, chill. That's what happened when the brain's working. All right. So we've had some floods in Nepal. Oh my gosh, those poor people. I had no clue about it. So I read it on CMR, believe it or not. Ooh, I told y'all I don't write as many of the stories as I would think. In fact, I seldom write the stories these days because I'm busy doing other things. You know, when you're owner management, you got to know how to let go and not micromanage people. So Renee does most of the stories. Sometimes she does stories that I don't know anything about. She goes to the court list. She follows the court. You know, I let her do her thing. She has been doing it for, oh my gosh, over 6 years now. And so there's absolutely no need for me to really micromanage her. If we need to tweak something, we do it. No fuss, no muss, whatever. And so one of the things that I was thinking about, what was I going to tell y'all? There's something specific I was actually going to say here. No, I can't remember. Anywho, yesterday, about Nepal. So I didn't even know about this thing that I was and came across, obviously, CMR's page. And I saw this story and I was like, oh my God, what? When did this happen? So they're having flash floods and all sorts of stuff. It is really bad. This is why it's good to subscribe to the channel, because you'll get your daily reminders now by email and on WhatsApp. Got some footage here I'm going to show you guys, but this is just shocking. You know, these weather events do happen all over the world. And we have several events that we obviously are concerned about and can happen to us. A lot of them, we get some sort of notification. When you've got heavy rain and then flash flooding and all this sort of thing, sometimes the time that you have to prepare yourself is very, very limited. And oh man, I feel so sorry for these people. Of course, we do have a Nepalese community here. And I want to let them know that we're thinking about them and their families and the impact that this flood is having back home. And as is the case, CMR does not report just what happens in Cayman. Yes, we report what happens in Cayman. Don't worry, we hardly miss a story. But we also know that the world is, because of technology, a very, very, it's a big place and it's a small place all at the same time. So, you know, now we have people living here on this island working and are making Cayman their temporary home away from home. And they no doubt will be impacted. So more than 150 people as of yesterday killed, with hundreds more missing after what is being categorized as catastrophic floods hitting the Nepal and China border. And this is just such a sad state of affairs. 41 others have been hospitalized following the floods, which have devastated areas. And the death toll, of course, is expected to rise significantly. But rescue efforts and rescue operations continue. Chinese authorities have reported deaths and more than 250 people remain missing after flooding and a mudslide struck what's called the Gyeongsang County in Tibet near the Nepal border. So of those accounted for, hundreds of foreign nationals. Nepalese officials said at least 341 foreigners are missing, including at least 47 Americans, 133 Indian nationals, many of whom are traveling on pilgrimage to Mount Kailash in Tibet. And then they've got other tourists that were missing from South Korea, Russia, Portugal, Italy, and Ukraine. My God, such a sad, incredibly sad state of affairs. So I'm going to show you some of the footage. And I should give you a warning that this is, you know, obviously very difficult to watch. So if you are easily triggered by this type of stuff, then this is probably the time for you to log off and not watch this. But, you know, here it is. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this one doesn't have any audio, but look at what happens here. You can see there's a building. Their architectures and stuff is quite interesting, but there's a building there. Mountain. It's a very mountainous area. So obviously they've built around this very mountainous area. And you see people kind of running on the ground, which means that they probably felt the trembling and the vibration of the floods. And then look at this. Look at what is that coming from behind the building? Let's just fast forward this, because obviously, I guess they could hear it coming. They couldn't see it, but they could hear it coming. They started to run. And then look at what this does. This is a mudslide. What are we categorizing this as? It just came in and took out everything. Nothing but dust, debris, and soot. And you see some water there. And that, folks, is shocking. OMG. Like I said, if you're easily triggered by these things, this would not be the video to watch. Whoa. That is so wild. OMG, those poor people. Here's another one from a slightly different angle. And you can see the same building there that we're talking about. You can see the water. This one has a little bit of audio over it, but obviously we don't speak Chinese. But, you know, you can kind of see what starts to happen. The people start running. Cars trying to get out of the way. Everybody's coming out of the way, and you see it just coming in. Look, from the left of my screen, I think it'd be your same left. Wires snapping, all these cables. It just starts to take everything in its wake. Look at all those tour buses and stuff. It starts pushing them back. Listen to me. Jeez, peace. Nosa. Look at that. That whole thing just collapses. What the heck? Water. Oh, Lord God. Listen, we have to be so thankful in life. Oh my God. So horrible. What can you do? I mean, I've never seen anything quite like this. So our thoughts and prayers are going out to the people of Nepal today, the community here. Obviously, we were very, very sorry that this has happened. This is devastating. The toll will continue to rise. Leroy says that he's praying for his co-workers from Nepal. And Heaven Bless says this is why we should all be grateful. Plenty earthquakes, and see what happens to Venezuela. It can happen anywhere. Venezuela, Colombia. I mean, yes, these things are devastating. And yeah, it's just unbelievable. Heaven Bless says a Nepalese guy was on Eastern Avenue crying because he lost family members. Quite sad. What to do? I mean, all you can do is, just pray for these people, try to support them as much as you can. George says, yes, Sandy, that thing came from the mountaintop, then into the ocean, causing a massive wave, and then onto land. Let us pray for these people. It's almost like a tsunami, but the devastation is real. And we have other footage of the flash flooding. Man, let me tell you something. Mother Nature is powerful, for sure. But water in particular, raging water, whether it's like river water, comes in from the sea, the ocean, whatever, it has to be one of the most powerful things wind is also powerful, but I kind of feel like water is, look at this one. Look at this. Entire bridge is gone. Oh my God. And of course, this level of flood flashes yeah, will take out floodwaters, not just bridges, but it will undermine foundations of buildings. It will make buildings collapse, homes collapse, everything in its way. It's just going to take it out. So it's very, very difficult to watch this footage. You know, these deadly mudslides have devastated the border crossing between Nepal and China. And again, especially in the Nepal side, we are just really sorry that this has happened. What a mess. Undoubtedly, people here will be impacted by this. So let's just keep them in our thoughts and prayers, and hope that they can. I'm going to show you guys a before and after picture because this is dark. This is shocking to know. But let me just show you this one because again, this shows the power of the water and unfortunately the level of devastation. So this is before. This is what it looks like. You see the little bridge there and the waterway in between. And this is what it looked like after the flood. All the homes on both sides gone, completely gone. I mean, you know, obviously their homes are probably not really strong concrete structures, but it's what they have. The roadway is gone. The homes are gone. Even what was the river in between that separated them, looks like the water, you know, got used up. What on earth? Completely changed the topography of the area. So the scale of this is horrible, and there's lots of footage online with the mud everywhere. People have lost their lives, and I'm sure that those who survived will now have a very, very long journey of recovery up ahead. And if there's any way that you can help, elderly, children, all sorts of people are going to be impacted by this. So of course, if you can help, we know Caymanians have they have a strength of character, you know, and big hearts. And we have always wanted to, in the past, we've done it and we'll continue to do it to help people as much as we possibly can. So if you can help, now obviously will be the time for you to step up and assist. Again, don't be trying to send these people clothes from here all the way to Nepal. Reach out to organizations that you trust, rescue organizations, the Red Crosses and so on, and you know, see what's needed. Most of them will ask for a cash donation so that they can get there on the ground and offer assistance in the best possible way. It's just really, really devastating to see even the photo of the people. There's this little old lady that they were trying to rescue and they were carrying her. And I'm personally not going to look at too many of them myself because it does become really, really depressing. And but at the same time, we have to make sure that we understand, you know, that these things do happen. And so all of this comes from down the Himalayan River. It flows from Tibet into Nepal. And during the disaster, a massive amount of debris entered the river system. So it's just a chain of events, right? So first it started with the river, which is the Boti Kushi, which is a powerful Himalayan river flowing from Tibet into Nepal. And that massive amount of debris entered the river system. And then a river is suddenly obstructed. Water can accumulate behind the blockage. And if that natural dam is overtopped or break, an enormous volume of water can then rush downwards almost at once. And this helps explain why communities downstream can be overwhelmed so quickly. So then they had what put the material in the Himalayan River to cause this destruction was a massive avalanche of ice, rock, and earth high above the valley, and part of the glacier apparently broke away, and it plumaged thousands of feet down the mountain. And as it fell, it did not remain a simple block of ice. So imagine, if you will, what happens when you have millions of tons of ice come crashing down a mountainside. It will shatter the rock, it tears the soil loose, it picks up snow, mud, water, and then that avalanche becomes larger and more destructive as it continues to travel down. So the tremendous collapse was powerful enough to produce, listen to this, seismic vibrations, something that can actually register like an earthquake. That's how powerful this thing was. And so, yeah, it's crazy. That's what happened. So the glacier melted off and moved. Very, very sad. So again, just to give you the context of what it looks like and where this is coming from, I'm going to show you where the Himalayan mountains are, and then kind of this, flow of events that really cause this tragic situation. So there it is. And that's where the landslide started all the way at the top. And then it came down, as it came down the Trisuli River. That's where a lot of those homes and stuff that you would see there. People tend to build around bodies of water to have access, easy access to it. And that then becomes extremely devastating. All right, folks, so let's just pray for these poor people. And Miss Ann says, I couldn't watch it, so sorry for them. G's on Peace says, Miss Dean. Leroy says, I saw it. Blissful Palace says, after seeing this video of Nepal, I'm grateful for home. God bless them all. Jonathan says, the raw force of moving water is far more powerful than winds. Hurricane winds are also destructive, but the real death toll comes when the water comes in. And in this case, Jonathan, you had glacier ice breaking off from that Himalayan mountain. Strong Will says, Auntie, water or fire, which one's more dangerous? Both can be dangerous for sure. Nobody wants to be in this situation. Sandy, you're forgetting the most important part for your listeners. Tell them to beware of the Nepalese scammers seeking recovery. Well, that's why I made the suggestion, Anthony, listen carefully, honey child, to please go through organizations that are trusted, that have a reputation. Do not give, donations to individuals unless you want to, or you trust them, then that's on you. But I would recommend going through reputable organizations. Okay, so that your donation is going to go where intended. Dean says, my cousin and other occupants were evacuated from an apartment next to the fallen hotel in Colombia. Oh my God. Wow. Jonathan says, water takes more lives each and every year than fires do. Sherry Ann, good morning, honey child. I thought you were going to message me the other day. Global warming is real, says Leroy. You better believe it. And then natural disasters is real too. So, these things happen. Yes, Jonathan, we're aware that glaciers are hard water, but it still has a different sort of knock-on effect. And then interestingly enough, you saw that building and how it came rushing over the building. Can you imagine that the building is actually still standing? Now, that is some solid construction right there. Let me show you this picture. Although a lot of the homes got devastated. Look. Where is it? There we go. That building actually survived, and the ones there. And you saw the water coming right over it. Child, they must have used some real concrete in that one. Somebody says that this post is garbage. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if AI now producing some of this stuff, but if it did survive, let me put it as a caveat. If it did survive, that is one hell of a building that was obviously very well constructed. We'll see if we can get some more footage to confirm that. Now, 7 hours ago, the missing is up to 1,300. So, as expected, it went up significantly. More than 160 confirmed dead. All right, folks. Wow. It's pretty wild. Let's pray for the people of Nepal. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the program. That's all I got for you. Tomorrow's Friday. We will have the Minister of Education and Training on the program, the Honorable Ralston Anglin, and he'll be catching up with us. School has started back, like I said. Vacation is over. And so now we'll get back to our regular segments with him for sure. And Jonathan, I don't know. He said, I saw some folks running into the building instead of running away. I wonder if any of them survived. Oh my gosh, I doubt it. But who knows? Live Happy says, isn't natural disaster an oxymoron? I'm not so sure. Because you can have non-natural, meaning probably man-made disasters. I'm not sure. Anywho, yeah, so please tune in tomorrow morning for the Honorable Minister. All right. Such a sad situation. All right. Have a beautiful day. And if you're able to attend the meeting this evening from the Ministry of Health, please do so.
As Minister for Health, Environment and Sustainability, I'd like to personally invite you to join me at one of our upcoming public town hall meetings. We're discussing proposed changes to legislation covering environmental health, tobacco and vaping, public health, health practice, and I want to hear from you. Whether you have questions, concerns, or ideas to share, these meetings are an opportunity for open conversation about issues that affect us all. Join us at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, the 26th of August at the John Gray Memorial Church Hall in Westby, or at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 27th of August at Constitution Hall in Georgetown. Come out, meet your neighbors, share your perspective, and be a part of shaping the future of health in our islands. Light refreshments will be available, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Think on an okay, man? Get out and explore the legends behind our landmarks competition. Visit any landmark on interactive map, snap a photo or video, then share it to Instagram or Facebook and tell us what you learned. Tag at MYSCH_Cayman and use hashtag legends behind our landmarks for your chance to win weekly prizes and 2 major prizes. The more landmarks you visit, the more chances you have to win. Visit legendsbehindOurlandmarks.ky and find out where we from. Brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage.
The government is inviting the public to share their views on proposed changes to tobacco and vaping laws. The proposal aims to protect our young people, strengthen vaping rules, and address concerns about disposable vapes. We want to hear from parents, educators, businesses, and the wider community. The consultation opens on the 21st of August. Log on to publicconsultation.gov.ky to help shape the future of tobacco and vaping policy in the Cayman Islands.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.